And then Michelle's going to go through some videos and information on different cruises throughout the Med, Australia, Alaska, Caribbean, etc. And then obviously if there's anything that you're not sure of, please even put your little questions on the chat, or you can unmute yourselves and you can ask us directly, okay? So I'm going to pass you over to Michelle. Michelle's been with Royal Caribbean for quite a while. Some of you may recognise her from past ones that I used to do with Thomas Cook. So I'm going to pass you over, and here's to having an interesting half hour or so, okay? And thank you all for coming on, and I'll speak to you shortly. All right, over to you,
Super
Michelle.
stuff. Thanks, Grace. Thanks for joining us this morning, guys. As Grace mentioned, I am the Regional Sales Manager for Royal Caribbean, and today I'm going to take you through just some of the a quick overview of some of the amazingness that we are offering right through for 2021 and into 2022 and beyond. For anybody that does know Royal Caribbean, maybe you've been with us before, or maybe it is your dream now to get on board once the world rights itself again. We have 51 years of sailing, or 51 years of extraordinary, as we like to say, with 25 award-winning ships. And one thing we really do pride ourselves on is that we have something for everyone to suit every taste, every style, every age on board. We have so many ships around the world, as you can see here, covering every different corner that you can get to, whether you are looking for daredevil adventures or some culinary crusades, or, you know, just a wonderful, fulfilled family getaway. We have, for 2022, we will have 4 ships sailing in Alaska. We will also have a ship in Canada and New England. Then down to the Caribbean, the Bahamas and Bermuda, where there will be 8 ships, 2 ships in Asia, 3 ships over in Australia and New Zealand and the South Pacific, and a whopping 7 ships right on our own doorstep covering sailings throughout Europe. And that would be the Western Med, the Greek Isles, and even some quite random but exciting bucket list options in there as well that I'll go through with you in a little while. One major thing with Royal Caribbean that we really, really take on board and that we stand by is our values, and that's what we like to call the Royal Way. This literally goes from everybody, whether you're on the ship, on the port, sitting at your kitchen table, trying to get people on board, really across the entire brand. We do take on board this Royal Way, way of life, I guess. And that, again, on board, you will see this so clearly right from your stateroom attendants, and anybody that has been on board will know these guys. I like to think of them, but they have the towels turned into puppets and stuff, and monkeys swinging from your showers and things like this when you come in. You know, it's like the cruising version of Elf on the Shelf, while you're off enjoying your day and you come back to these amazing little surprises in your room. And, you know, people really do kind of bond with their stateroom attendants. They take time to get to know kids and families as you go through as well. And there's such an incredible part of your stay and of the cruise, of course. Then down to our dining staff, depending on the ship, there is such an array of dining across the entire fleet, whether you're looking to go for kind of speciality dining and try things that you haven't before, like a Zumi, which is our Asian inspired cuisine on board, or, you know, down to Chops Grill, where you will get these incredible steaks, or Jamie's Italian on there as well. The dining staff really do put their heart and soul into every meal on board, and they do have the abilities to cater for every taste or any dietary requirements whatsoever that you will that you may have. You will find that they will be absolutely catered for on board. And of course, we have our kids club team. So anybody out there that has families that are looking to travel, our kids clubs on board are award winning. It's called Adventure Ocean, and right from tiny tots all the way up to the teens, there is something for everybody covered in there. And it's not necessarily all in one, where, you know, you've got your 6 and 7 year olds in with, you know, 14, 15 year olds. It really is so well broken up, from, you know, creche right through to 3 to 5 year olds, 6 to 8 year olds, 9 to 11 year olds, and 12 and up to the teens. And then with the kids club teams, they really epitomize the royal way, in that they put so much into making sure that your kids and your families have the best time on board. And everybody that works in our kids club has a background and degree in whatever element it is that they are working in. So whether they're teaching science experiments during the day, or geography classes, or even language classes and stuff on board as well, they are all hugely friendly, passionate and committed throughout the ship and throughout the company itself. Now, I'm really quickly going to go through some of it's like what they call in the Pantene ads, the science part, with just our quick return to service. This is purely focused at the moment on 2021, where we have a few ships that are being redeployed for 2021, again, which I'll go through in a little while with you as well. So just going to do a brief overview. Again, this is all subject to change, of course, as the world is changing and starting to reopen, you know, but this is what is in hand at the moment. And if you do have any upcoming sailings within 30 days of your sailing, you will be advised of any changes to the return to service or anything like that as well. So quick overview of ships that will be sailing at the moment that are being redeployed even for 2021. We have Jewel of the Seas that is going to be sailing out of Limassol in Cyprus. That is open to any guests around the world once you are fully vaccinated. Over the age of 18, crew and guests need to be fully vaccinated. And if you're under the age of 18, you need to provide a negative PCR test. Then we have Quantum of the Seas that is already sailing very successfully out of Singapore, getting some great reports back ever since she started sailing a little while ago. And it really is just going so well for them. Currently only open to local residents though. Then Adventure of the Seas out of the Bahamas and Vision of the Seas out of Bermuda will also be sailing this summer. Again, open to anybody over the age of 18 who is vaccinated and under the age of 18 with a negative PCR cert. Then a bit closer to home, Odyssey of the Seas, which is our brand new Quantum Ultra class ship. That is going to be sailing out of Haifa in Israel. Again, this ship is currently only open to local residents and will be kicking off next month. But keep an eye out because it's going to have some incredible content, incredible, you know, really front row seats into what life will be like on this brand new ship, who will be returning to the Greek Isles next summer. And then very close to home, we have Anthem of the Seas that is going to be sailing out of Southampton from the 7th of July, 2021. And our Anthem of the Seas is going to be open to UK residents, including Northern Ireland. So you'll be able to get on there and doing 4 to 8 night sailings. Some of them will be sailing to nowhere, some of them will be having stops throughout the UK, and I will go into depth in that in a few slides more, just quickly touching on a few more elements first. So we will have new check-in requirements. We have a new mobile app and everything will be done through the app. So it will limit your face-to-face contact, it will limit any exchanging of documents or anything like that as well. There'll be a staggered arrival. You'll be given a time to arrive at, so that you can select your arrival time on the wellness check and just make sure you do show up on time for your appointment. You will have a health questionnaire notification as well that you'll need to fill out within 24 hours of sailing, and your boarding pass as well will be on the app here as well. You will not get that until you've completed the health questionnaire and the wellness check app appear as well. We will have a new muster 2.0 for anybody that's not been on board. Our musters are basically a safety drill that you have to complete. It is mandatory at the beginning of your sailing, and usually you gather in certain areas to go through these, but this will all be done virtually, and you will have interactive screens in your staterooms or via your mobile app as well. You will need to complete these either, you know, as I said, in your stateroom through the screen or through your app. They will be need to be completed within a certain time before you set sail. And it will just give a faster, more personal approach. Obviously, there will be less gatherings, so no large crowds need to get together. It is far more convenient. I mean, even with other things aside, I think this is just a far more convenient way of doing it as well, to be perfectly honest. And you get to pay more in-depth attention because it's one-on-one, and you get to do it in your own time, so you can really delve in there and get all the information that you need for the muster 2.0. And then finally, just some extra steps that we are taking as well Anybody that has cruised before, and I'm sure Grace, you'll agree with this. When I went on my first cruise, I was kind of blown away by it. You know, the amount of hand sanitizing stations across the ship before hand sanitizing was even, you know, the thing. And so we really just have upped the ante with 100% fresh filtered air being pumped in, medical grade cleaning standards across the ship, upgraded medical facilities and expert care, and very importantly, a safe and timely return home in any scenario. So there really is, like I said, they've been sailing already in Singapore and they've done test runs on this, and had some instances where they've had to push, you know, certain procedures into place, and it has all worked out perfectly to date. So we are really, really positive that there will be such a high level of attention on board as well, with all this taken on board. Like I said, that is currently just focused on our Anthem and our dual sailings. Well, that are open to us at the moment. And then any changes that come up for any other sailings, we will of course let you know. And like I said, within 30 days or 30 days before you're due to sail, you should be notified of all any changes to this on board as well. So just remember, over the age of 18, you need to be fully vaccinated. Under the age of 18, you need to provide a negative PCR test. And now into some of the fun stuff. So, like I mentioned, for summer 2021, from the 7th of July, the incredible Quantum class ship Anthem of the Seas is going to be sailing 4 to 8 night itineraries, and this includes ocean getaways and cruises around the British Isles. Now, I know that in you know, the normal world, you know, people from the British Isles might not be too keen on a sailing around the British Isles, but if you think of the amount of staycations and the likes that we've all, you know, done in the last year, and that have saved us essentially in the last year as well, and kept us some bit sane while we are chomping at the bit to get back on board and get back out and see the world, this is like a destination in itself. I've been on Anthem of the Seas on 2 night sailings that went out of Cove and just sailings to nowhere, and I don't know if I even came up for air. There's so much to do on board and so much activities on there as well. And of course, sailing from July, you would hope that there would be some fantastic weather as well to keep you going on there too. It really will be a holiday worth waiting for, and a staycation with a difference essentially as well. They are leading in price at the moment for 4 night cruises. That is the one in July, are from $579 per person, and they are on sale now. Some incredible things that you can do on board. Like I said, it is a destination in itself. The North Star here on our top left is kind of like a signature piece on board any of our Quantum class ships. It is like, I always kind of describe it like a London iPod that goes up 300 feet above sea level and actually takes you out over the sea as well, over the side of the ship, and gives you 360-degree views of your surroundings. And there is nothing like just going up in that North Star and then it just suddenly starts to go out over the water, and it is absolutely breathtaking. I've gone up in the North Star in like ports in Dublin, I did it in Belfast, things like that, and it's just even I know not even because we all love these cities, but like the views that you get from up there, it's like absolutely nothing else. Then of course we have our Flow Rider, which is our surf simulators on board as well, and our Ripcord by iFly, which again is a bit of a tummy turner in a good way, where you get out and it's basically like a skydive simulator that you can do on board. So for anybody that wants that, you know, feeling of skydiving but might not want to jump out of a plane, this is your perfect option, and you can do it on a ship. Then we of course have our bumper cars, our ice skating rinks, our laser tag, all in the one area as well, and our Seaplex. You can do archery on board. We have our First at Sea, which is a rock climbing wall. You can even get your scuba certification on board as well if you so wish. And we have a trapeze school on there too. There is so much that you can do on board. It really is, like I mentioned, a destination in itself. Not to mention then, of course, all of our family-friendly options on here as well, between the amount of pools that we've got on board, our H2O water park for the kids and our splash zone, the whirlpools. And if it is such a case where maybe you're not going on a family holiday, maybe you do want a little bit of R&R, one of my favorite places on board is the solarium, which is your adults only area where you've got your private pools, you've got bars in there, you've got little cafes as well, so you can go in there and absolutely chill out in complete tranquility in there as well, while taking in some amazing views as you sail around. Then, of course, you cannot forget about the incredible dining on board. Even just looking at this now is actually making my mouth water. One thing I like, even I brought my mother on board, and one thing that she did say to me, she was like, do you offer a service to be rolled off the ship afterwards with the amount of food that you can eat on board? And with the amount of options on there, I have challenged myself to this, and I have not managed to get around to every dining option during one cruise, because there is so much on there to do. And like I said, for every taste, whether you're doing all you can eat buffets up in the Windjammer, definitely try the French toast, by the way, tip from me. You then have the main dining room as well, where you can go every evening. There's cafes at 270 and like park cafes around the ship as well. Then you've got Sorrento's Pizza, which does stay open until 3 a.m. So it's a great little spot after the silent discos. You've got your cafe promenades and La Patisserie, which are just the kind of cafe spots across the ship. Dog House for some amazing hot dogs. Johnny Rockets, which is like our version of our version of Eddie Rockets on there as well. And not to mention some incredible specialty dining on board, whether you're looking for steaks or salads or sambos, everything on there. There really is something to suit every single taste. And you can try them all out. And then, of course, we have our night bars and lounges. Something that we are quite famous for as well is the incredible crack and nightlife that you do have on board. Whether you're up at the North Star waiting to go up, or you've just been up and had your view, you can sit under there then and have yourself a little cocktail. Go to the Bionic Bar and have the robots choose your cocktails for you. The Diamond Club for a bit of crack. There's always fun and games going on down there. Of course, pool bars, sweet lounges, the Sunshine Bar. One of my absolute favorites in the top left here is the Schooner Bar. Anybody that loves a sing song, like myself, the Schooner Bar is the place to go. And if you can't find it, if you just stop for a second and listen, you'll always hear somebody singing. And it is incredible. It's a piano, and with the pianist sitting on it, and there's actually like a bench built in and around attached to the piano, and you can slide in and bring up your cocktails, and you just have an absolute sing song, and it is just brilliant. And it's a great way of getting to know people as well and making friends for your cruise too. And then if you just see down here in the middle at the bottom, the 270 bar. I'll go into some of the shows now again in a second, but this is our incredible performance area. But by day, it is a bar and a cafe and an amazing chill out spot as well. And by night, it has all of these show-stopping performances. Basically, 270 is at the aft of the ship, and it goes up 3 decks. And then by day, it's all open. So you're just looking out the back of the ship with these incredible views of the sea. And you just have to sit there with a coffee maybe during the day, or a cocktail and your book, or just taking in the views. And then at night, it turns into, it's like Cirque du Soleil meets Vegas, meets Broadway, meets like intimate jazz gigs. It's just incredible. You have screens coming out of the ceiling and robots coming out of the floor. And it's just breathtaking. The first time I saw it, I actually went during the day and just saw a rehearsal, and even at that I got goosebumps. So the performances on here are just absolutely incredible. And then of course, as with all our Royal Caribbean ships, we have Broadway at sea, and so you could have Grease and We Will Rock You as well, which is of course the Queen Freddie Mercury themed performances on board there as well. So really something to suit every kind of taste here as well, not just on the food side, but on the entertainment side as well. And of course, all of these shows included in the price of your sailing as well. There is no extras for any of these performances, and you can go see them every night. They'll be mixed up. You can literally plan out your entertainment from the beginning and just have your breath taken away multiple times every day. So, just before I play this then, I'm just going to scooch in. This is going to be into 2022. So that's kind of our big one, was Anthem for 2021 for us close to home. And then I'm going to take you in now just to give you a quick overview of 2022. And Grace, if this, just give me a thumbs up just to make sure this is playing on your end, if you don't mind. that is one of my favorite videos. It just gives you such a great overview of number one, what's on offer from Royal Caribbean, but also just all of the destinations that you can get to for across 2022. Of course, because I think, you know, a lot of people are pushing through now to 2022 for the sure thing, to make sure that you know, everybody's vaccinated, vaccinations are up to date, and procedures are in place and everything like that. So if you do have a future cruise cert burning a hole in your pocket, make sure you get in touch with Grace, because those future cruise certs, you have up until April 2022 to get them booked, but they can be used right through the summer into September 2022. And just to take you quickly through our ships, as I mentioned, there's going to be 7 ships in Europe for summer 2022. I did speak briefly about Odyssey of the Seas, which is your top left here. That's going to be going out of Rome and doing some fantastic itineraries. You'll see 6, 7, 9, and 12 night itineraries in there. The kind of hot topic, or the really big one at the moment, is the Greek Isles. It's going to be going into Santorini, into Mykonos, and doing late stays there, overnights in Naples and Athens, and it's just absolutely phenomenal sailings in there. And anybody looking for something even a little bit different then as well, you can do a 12 night, it's a Holy Land cruise. It actually goes, it does Santorini, Mykonos, Naples, Athens, but also goes into Kusadasi, into Ephesus, it goes into Jerusalem. And there's some great spots along the way in there as well, just to extend it out as a 12 nighter. This is going to be the game changer. Like Anthem of the Seas, it has a lot of the similar things on board with the North Star, the Ripcord by iFly. It's Anthem of the Seas' newer, younger, cooler sister. And when I think of these quantum and quantum ultra class ships, the only word, and it doesn't do it justice, but it's just, they are so cool. The technology on board, the activities on board, the itineraries, like they really are something else. So if you see beside it here, we've got Allure of the Seas. And Allure of the Seas is one of our Oasis class ships. And that's like big bells and whistles, all stops. You've got slides going down 10 decks. You've got zip lines going across the ship. Like, it is phenomenal. And then in comparison, Odyssey of the Seas it's right up there with it in the amount that you can do, but it's just a bit sleeker, a bit cooler, a bit more, you know, technology focused on there as well, with your bionic bars, and you've got your, like I said, the Ripcord and the North Star on there as well, and of course your 270 performance zone as well, like I've gone through on Anthem. So that's a fantastic one, sailing out of Rome, taking in predominantly the Greek Isles for summer 2022. Then, as mentioned, Allure of the Seas, bells and whistles class ship, Oasis class ships, like you might have heard of Symphony and Harmony, that are over in the Caribbean. They are the largest ships at sea. Allure is their sister. She's going to be going out of Barcelona and doing the Western Med into like Palma de Mallorca, Naples, Provence, Marseille for summer 2022. And like, this is the perfect family friendly ship for anybody that wants to go. Like, you can go from tiny tots right up to grannies and granddads and great grannies and granddads and anybody in between. There really is something for everybody on board here. It's a brilliant group trip for any groups that want to go anywhere that you go, because there is, you know, so many different parts of the ship and so many different areas on the ship that you can, you know, split up your tastes. If you want different staterooms, if you want to do different shows, everybody can be catered for. And the one thing with it as well, while you might think, you know, with so many people on board, it'll be jam-packed, these are quite big ships. Not to deter you either on that side of things, but there is so much space. You're not going to be, you know, queuing for hours and hours to get into things. You can pre-book activities, pre-book shows and all this as well, to have a completely smooth sailing throughout your trip there as well. Then, of course, we have, again, Anthem of the Seas, that will still be in Southampton for next summer. And she's going to be doing, again, some fantastic family-friendly options in there as well, with longer sailings. So you've got 7, 12, and 14 nighters going in around Spain, Portugal, the Canaries. There's some great stops in there. It also does the Norwegian fjords as well, for anybody looking for something a little bit different, maybe a scenic cruise, something that really takes in those stunning views as well. And the one thing with this as well, is you're only sailing for a day to get up to the fjords. It's not like you're going for 3 or 4 days to get up around. It's one day and then you are up in the fjords as well, taking all of those in with the incredible views up there too. Then moving into the bottom, these between Voyager and Jewel aren't as big and bells and whistles-y as our Quantum class or Oasis class would be. They're down in the more traditional style of cruising. Voyager being one of the bigger ones, and then Vision, Brilliance, and Jewel being smaller, but by no means small. They really still have that royal element that you'd like with the dining and the activities and the entertainment. They just don't necessarily have zip lines going across the neighborhoods in the middle or like this, but still really valuing the royal way, but more itinerary focused, because these ships are slightly smaller. They can get into different ports. For example, Voyager of the Seas is going to be sailing out of Copenhagen and out of Stockholm and doing some truly different itineraries that you might not think of with cruising, like going into like Finland, Norway, Denmark, and even into St. Petersburg, and doing an overnight in St. Petersburg, which is hugely popular at the moment. Mostly for people who might not have ever visited Russia, have always had it on their list, might not necessarily want to go in and do a week there and not sure how to kind of go about it. This is the perfect way to do it, that you get in and see these incredible cities over the course of your trip as well. Then Vision of the Seas, similar to Allure, is going to be going out of Barcelona and doing the Western Med, but getting into different ports like Monte Carlo, Portofino, these smaller destinations that a ship like Allure just couldn't fit into, and is getting into these incredible stops that you get to see along the Western Med and doing longer sailings. So you're actually looking, well, Allure does 7-nighters, you're looking at 8 or 12-nighters on Vision of the Seas then around the Western Med. And then again, Brilliance of the Seas, similar to Odyssey, though it's going to be going out of Venice, is also going to be visiting the Greek Isles, your Santorini and your Mykonos, but also adding in stops in Montenegro and one of my favorites, which is Croatia. So it's going into Split and Zadar in Croatia, and some truly, and Dubrovnik as well, some really incredible itineraries on Brilliance of the Seas. And it's actually one of my favorite ships as well. I don't know what it is about Brilliance, but you just get on and there's all these little kind of nooks and crannies that you can go into, and you can sit in with a glass of wine as you're pulling out of a port in the evening. The dining on board is spectacular. The entertainment, and then the likes of the schooner bar and these areas that you go to, they're more intimate because obviously it's a smaller ship, so there's not as many people as Allure of the Seas. So if you are someone that likes to enjoy maybe the finer things in life, these are the ships that you're looking at. And if you want to have a bit of a quieter sailing while still having all of the incredible options that Royal offer, then these are definitely the ships for you. And then finally, we have Jewel of the Seas, again doing some unusual ones, going out of Amsterdam and also out of Tarragona in Spain. And that is doing some cool bucket list ones too. While it is going into the Greek Isles and some sailings as well, it's also taking in the likes of Iceland and Norway and doing stops along there, and even has an Arctic Circle cruise in there as well, which you might not think about. But then, ship is one of the perfect ways to see these as well. And you can be sitting out on deck and taking all the incredible views in there as well, like the Northern Lights and things like this. So if you are looking for something a little bit different to tick off your bucket list for 2022, then there's so many options in there for you. And all really just a very short flight away. So just to delve in a little bit deeper on Allure of the Seas, because like I said, this is our big bells and whistles ship for summer 2022. It's kind of the favorite child for the summer for sure. And just to give you a really good overview, like I said, it's great for groups and big family trips, anything like that, where you can have the kids in the kids club while mum and dad are sneaking away to grab some incredible specialty lunches. Then you've got the teens up on the rock climbing walls, while you can all then get together in the evenings to go to the amphitheater to see these amazing depth-defying shows. You've got the zip line going across the entire length of the ship, and you've got your flow rider surf simulators. We've got the incredible spas on board as well, not to mention 23 pools and whirlpools across the ship as well for everyone to enjoy. It is our most awarded ship. It has won awards for the best large cruise ship, best for entertainment. Mamma Mia is our Broadway show of choice for summer 2022 on Allure of the Seas. And it's also won awards for best individual ship. So a lot of people, I think, this year are, you know, thinking of treating their families and even extended families to that trip of a lifetime for next year after what a year it has been. And Allure of the Seas is just an absolute no-brainer. I'll go into some pricing in a little while as well, but do remember one thing with Allure of the Seas at the moment, that there is some fantastic family pricing on there. So the third and fourth guests are actually quite discounted at the moment. So if you're a family of 4, if you're a family of 10, and you're booking different staterooms, if you have more than 2 in a stateroom, the third and fourth guests are discounted. And don't think that you're going to be, you know, 4 in the bed type of thing as well, you know, with the interiors, the likes of that. You can up the ante. Even if you didn't want to go for a balcony or a suite, we do have our ultra spacious and our panoramic ocean view rooms, which are at certain parts of the ship as well, and does what it says on the tin. They are extra spacious rooms, and they have the big panoramic windows as opposed to a balcony. Or you can get interconnecting staterooms as well, where your door is open. If you're in a balcony, the balconies open up and together as well, and it's like one big suite in there as well. So there are so many options on there for larger families that want to go away together, or groups that want to go away together as well. Or even if you wanted to have, you know, parents in one room, maybe 3 kids in another room, you can get the interconnecting staterooms, just once you have somebody over the age of 21 assigned to each room. And I mean, that can just be a parent assigned to each room then, and split up as you so wish. There really are so many options on there, rather than just thinking you have to go for the 2+2 in one windowless room. There really is so many more options on there. And now I'm going to go a little bit further away from home to my newest favorite. Although I tend to have a new favorite every week now at this stage. My bucket list is as long as my arm. But this is our Barbados sailings. So for the first time, we're going to be sailing out of Barbados from December 2021. Our newest home port is Bridgetown in Barbados. And these itineraries are amazing. We've got Southern Island Caribbean hops, or Caribbean Island hops. And they take in like the ABCs, which is your Arubas, your Barbados, your Curacao, down into Port of Spain, Trinidad, Tobago, Kingstown, St. Lucia. There is just so many stops along these. It really is an incredible trip, especially if you tie it in. And I do recommend doing this. And on some of our sailings as well, there's some brilliant options to tie in a few nights in Barbados ahead of time as well, because Barbados is such an incredible destination. It seems like such a shame to just use it as the home port. So definitely, if you're going to be doing this, tie in a couple of nights in Barbados as well. And one of the best things about going to Barbados, number one, you can fly from Belfast or you fly from Dublin. You do have to go via the UK, so either via London or Manchester, but then it's a straight shot down to Barbados. There's no stopping off in the States beforehand. So there's no huge pre-clearances or customs needed. There's no ESTAs needed. There's nothing like that. You can literally straight down. The airport is literally 20 minutes from the port as well, or from the town of Bridgetown. So you can get your holiday started within half an hour of landing and get straight to it. You don't have to do time beforehand if you don't want to, because it is a late departure, a late sailing that evening, but I could not recommend it more. It is absolutely phenomenal in there. And I mean, when you picture the picturesque, you know, Google images like you'll see here in front of you of the Caribbean, you will see all of these stops. You'll be sailing on Grandeur of the Seas, and on 90% of the sailings, there is a different destination every day. So if you are looking for that, you know, boom, 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 wonderful itinerary where you wake up in a different port, a different island every day, this is definitely one for you. I personally have this booked for myself as for one of the first ones that are going out in December. And I am absolutely buzzing for it, because it is the perfect winter getaway as well. You know, it's the high season over there. You've got the perfect weather. It's perfect for diving, perfect for all of your activities. And you don't realize how much there is to do either, I think, on these islands until you really start looking into it. And you can do zip lining, you can do caving, you can do scuba diving. There's like underwater museums. It is absolutely phenomenal. And then, of course, tied in with our grandeur of the seas here as well, with just some quick facts here, just to give you a little overview of it. There is unbeatable dining on board, similar to what I've gone through with you already with our Windjammer, our Chops Grill, our Izumi, our Giovanni's, and even just the different cafes throughout the ship as well. So many activities to do if you still have time once you get back on board, or energy after all of your excursions during the day, between our outdoor swimming pools and whirlpools. And remember, you're going to be in the Caribbean. So if there's a stop that you get to and you're like, I just would like to chill out for the day, you're going to have this Caribbean weather all around you to sit up on the deck with your cocktails and just chill out by the pool or in the solarium, or even up in the spa or on the rock climbing walls as well. And then, of course, we do still have amazing evening performances in the theaters and live music, and my favorite, as mentioned, the Schooner Bar. And this then will take you, as you travel then to your next port in the evening, you won't even notice you're moving with the amount going on around you and the incredible entertainment and activities on board. One little tip I would give as well, don't necessarily settle for an interior stateroom on these. There is fewer balconies on board, as it is a smaller ship than you might expect with the likes of an Oasis class ship, but the suites on board aren't exactly, you know, out of reach expensive. They are very, very well priced at the moment, because people went in and kind of swooped in for balconies, and then in some cases the suites are actually pricing up better than balconies. So if you did have a future cruiser, like I mentioned, burning a hole in your back pocket, if you got that extra 25%, if your sailing had been cancelled as part of the global sailing suspension, this is the best way to get in there and up the ante, because the pricing on this, as I'll go through with you in a minute, I think you will be extremely pleasantly surprised when you get on and see what you can get for essentially 8 nights down in Barbados, with different stops every single day down around the Caribbean. Sticking with the Caribbean, for anybody that doesn't know, this is Perfect Day at Coco Cay. This is Royal Caribbean's private island resort in the Bahamas, and it is, I mean, as perfect as it sounds. I'm going to play you a quick video here to give you a really good overview on it. Grace, if you give me a thumbs up as well, if it works for me, please.
Here we go, come on. They can see us coming from a mile away. They want to see us, want to be us, now we don't play.
It's like 1, 2, what's the move? I got 6. Do it like this.
Get up, right now, get up. Right now, get up. Right now, get up.
Do it like this.
Get up.
Oh my god! That performance the best.
Right now, get up. Right now, get up. Right now, get up.
Do it like this.
Here we go, come on. Everybody's gonna have a really good time. We got a crew ready to do whatever's popping tonight. Yeah, you know that it's the place to be. So get next to me and we'll be feeling so fine. Get up. Right now, get up. Right now, get up.
Do it like this.
Get up. Do it like what?
Do it like this.
I love that little kid. He just gets me every single time. So Perfect Day at Coco Cay is, as I mentioned, our private island resort in the Caribbean. You can see from different sides of it, we have the chill versus the thrill. So even if you're, you know, not a big kind of theme park slides type of, you know, couple, ghetto or family, anything like that, there is the absolute chill side of the island as well, like we have here. So this is our Oasis Lagoon, which is the largest fresh ocean pool in the Caribbean. Then we have our Splashaway Bay, similar to what we would have on board for our kids zones on there as well. Then we have our Thrill Water Park. Now this is, as it says on the tin, the thrill side of the park for sure, where we have 2 towers with 13 slides included, including the Daredevil's Peak, which is the tallest slide in North America at 135 feet tall. It really is a breathtaking one for sure. And this works out brilliantly as an option if you are maybe a family doing Orlando stay and doing a week in Orlando and wanting to tack on something different, instead of doing another theme park or another, like a Disneyland type place or something like that, tie on maybe a short sailing, like a 4-nighter out of Orlando that takes in a stop at Perfect Day at Coco Key as well. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Our wave pools here as well, amazing fun. Of course, hugely heavily lifeguarded and cared for as well. And you will see here as well the zip line. So there is a zip line that goes across the island as well, similar to what we'd have on our Oasis class ships. Then we have our Up and Away, which is our hot air balloon that goes up above the island as well, giving you a good overview there of Thrill Water Park as well as our Oasis lagoons there as well, to give you kind of a look at the size of the island. There's our zip line again. And then we have incredible dining and drinks on board on the island as well. Full board and speciality dining options available, similar to what you would have on board the ship. And if you do have a drinks package on the ship, it does carry on to the island as well. You just keep your sea pass with you as well once you get on the island, and there'll be absolutely no issues. And then this is our South Beach, which is on our chill side of the island. We love a good swim up bar, and on South Beach you swim out bars, just sitting in the middle of the Bohemian waters with your cocktail in hand. You can go paddle boarding, snorkeling, scuba diving, chasing the turtles, the whole shebang, or you can just chill out in our Coco Beach Club as well, which is you do need to pay additional to get in here if you so wish. It's kind of like our speciality dining, and this is where you will have, as you can see here, our private overwater cabanas as well. These are butler serviced cabanas. They've got slides that come down off the cabanas into the water as well, and you can just come and rent these out. I mean, if you are a group maybe that wants to go in, you can rent out a cabana between you and really just get the full luxury and advantage for the day there as well. And you can just see some quick overviews and floor plans on here as well. They are truly phenomenal. You can use, if you do have onboard spend as well or anything like that, you can use that towards booking any of these too. So a great option if you do have some OBC in your on your account as well. As I mentioned, you can do your 3-nighters there as well on Mariner and Navigator, which have been newly amplified as well, or take in your 7 nights on Symphony and Harmony as you're doing the Western or Eastern Caribbean, and even 8 or 9 nights on Adventure and Grandeur as well, taking in Bermuda, some of which actually has 2 stops at Perfect Day at Coco Key as well. It's proven that popular. And then really going further away from home, we do have some Australia, New Zealand and South Pacific sailings as well, something that a lot of people don't think of. So if you did maybe have family in Australia or that part of the world that you have not seen and you are dying to get down and see, why not tag in a little cruise while you're there as well and really make it a trip of a lifetime. Some phenomenal sailings down into the likes all around New Zealand and the Milford Sounds, into Hobart and Tasmania, really taking in some of the South Pacific, or even going down to see like Queensland and Cairns and different spots around there. There really is some absolutely phenomenal options on there. Any Lord of the Rings fans as well, all those spots down in New Zealand where you can go see Hobbiton and the likes are all on there, or there's all itineraries on there for those as well. And now the good stuff, just take you through some quick pricing on here. Grace will have all of these offers anyway as well. So if there's any ones in particular that you're interested, or if you'd like them slightly tailor-made to suit your needs as well, there's no better woman. So just this is obviously our Allure of the Seas. These are our Oasis class ships going out of the Western Med, obviously for summer 2022. My one on the left here is a May sailing, and that is priced per person. These are based on interior staterooms. On the left, we have flights from Belfast on the 15th of May coming in at $949 per person. This is your flights, your luggage per person, all of your transfers, and your 7-night full board cruise as well, with all of those activities that I've gone through included. So really is the perfect package on there. And then on the right hand side, I have a family of 4 sailing. These flights, just particular ones, are for Dublin on the 26th of June, but you can fly from Belfast as well. That's not a problem. And your itineraries on here, like I said, Palma de Mallorca, Provence and Marseille in France, Florence and Pisa in Italy, Rome and Naples as well, and then back into Barcelona. And at like less than $4,000 for a family of 4. Again, everybody's flights, everybody's transfers, luggage per person, and your 7-night full board cruise on there, taking in the Western Med. Then we have the Caribbean. So as I mentioned, we have Symphony of the Seas, which is our largest ship at sea. And that is the one taking in Perfect Day at Coco Cay. This is an incredible price. Symphony of the Seas is biggest, brightest, boldest ship that we have. And to get it at this kind of price for your, and this is a 9-nighter in that you fly over and then you do have 1 night pre-cruise in Miami included for this price as well. I am a huge Miami fan. I went there last year and it was just incredible. And so like for 1,335 per person, you were getting your 9 nights holiday on the biggest ship in the world on a full board basis, and taking in your Perfect Day at Coco Cay in the Bahamas, into St. Thomas and St. Martin as well, and of course Miami in Florida. And then on the right hand side we have our Southern Caribbean island hop on Grandeur of the Seas, and that is our Barbados, from our Bridgetown Barbados sailings there as well, taking in Tobago, Trinidad, Grenada, St. Vincent, Dominica, and of course St. Lucia on there, from less than £1,000 per person for your 8-nighter. And again, that is your flights, your transfers, and your 7-night Caribbean sailing. I told you you'd be very pleasantly surprised at the pricing on there as well, considering the destinations that you're getting in and how far away you are getting for it as well. And then again, with these ones as well, you can fly from Belfast or from Dublin. Then we have some bucket listers. I know it's been a tough year and everybody is looking now to tick something incredible off their bucket list when we do get back out into the world. And Alaska is one of my ultimate favorites. If you're a fan of scenery, if you're a fan of wildlife, anything like that, Alaska is breathtaking on there. This one goes out of Seattle, takes in all your different spots across Alaska, including some incredible glaciers in there as well, goes back into British Columbia and Victoria, British Columbia, and then back into Seattle. And this price does also include your 1-night pre-cruise in Seattle as well, and is on Quantum of the Seas. And Quantum of the Seas is one of our, obviously our Quantum class ships as well, similar to our Anthem of the Seas. And then on the right hand side here, we have one of our New Zealand cruises. So this is the ones that I was talking about for any of the Lord of the Rings or Hobbit fans, and this takes in the Milford Sound, the Dusky Sound, Dunedin, Christchurch, all of these incredible spots with these stunning views as well throughout New Zealand. Now this particular flight or particular price is cruise only at the moment, just the flights aren't out yet for October 2022, but can be added on later date, or can be booked in as provisional as well if you so wish. And then finally, guys, just to show you how safe it is to book with us, we have our cruise with confidence policy in place. Of course, Grace has all of this off by heart now at this stage. I'd say you've said it so many times. But it means that up until on or before the 31st of May, if you book on or before the 31st of May, you can cancel up to 48 hours before the sail date, if the sail date is before the 30th of April 2022, in exchange for 100% future cruise search. So whether something changes locally, whether something changes personally, whether you just decide it's not for you at the time, you have right up until 48 hours before you go, you can pull the plug and get 100% of your cruise fare back as a future cruise search as well, to be used for another 12 months. So don't panic. Don't be stressing out thinking, you know, if what happens, if something changes, you are completely covered. And we also have our best price guarantee, which can be put into place as well up to 48 hours prior to sailing, meaning that if you see a better price, better promo, better option, all you have to do is give Grace a buzz and she'll be able to get the price difference. If you're outside of your final payment, you'll get it refunded. If you're inside of it, it'll get put on as onboard credit as well that you can use throughout the ship and destinations that you go to too. And just finally then, what separates us from the competition? We have ships like no other. I hope you will agree now after our show today. Entertainment and activities like no other, and included in your price throughout our fleet. Food and drink experiences like no other, which I can 100% vouch for, including our Bionic Bar here, and adventures like no other throughout the world, and of course our Perfect Day at Coco Cay here. And that is all for me, as my voice is now running out. But thank you very, very much for taking the time to join us today. And if you have any questions, please pop it in the chat, or if you're brave enough, turn on your cameras or just unmute yourself and feel free to throw them at me, or of course Grace.
Michelle, thank you for that. Very informative. I know that there's a few people there who are very much royal clients. And I guess that the first thing would be to ask if is it Kate Spade shopping on board? That there's a very important thing.
Yes, there is. Depending on the ship, of course, but I have definitely perused some incredible Kate Spade options on board. Yeah. And you can use your onboard credit in the duty-free shops as well. Yeah. Very important.
Well, unfortunately, their cruises were cancelled this year, so they're planning ahead and hopefully going to get booked now for next year.
Excellent stuff. Well, there's so much available to you next year, as you've seen everything on there as well. And I mean, with the best price guarantee and your cruise of confidence, you're fairly covered.
Yeah. Emma, have you any questions that you would like to ask, or are you okay? Nope. Emma probably could have done the...
You're a loyal to Royler, are you? Are you a Crown and Anchor member then?
Yeah.
Well, we do have as well, if you book before the 30th of June, you'll get double points on your Crown and Anchor. So if you book it by the 30th of June, then when you return, your points for the sailing will be doubled. So you'll get even more the next time you go then as well.
So basically, if you do a 7-night cruise, you get 14 nights.
Yeah.
On your anchor, Crown Anchor, which is quite good because then you're moving up the ladder closer.
Exactly. Yeah, to get more and more discounts or add-ons and stuff the further down you go. So if you are a big cruiser, it's a really handy one.
Michelle, I have a quick question. With regards to the new check-in with the app, I have clients who are not very savvy, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah.
What happens there?
So there will be exceptions, I guess, around that. The app is mostly to reduce the number of face-to-face and everything like this. But I mean, you can put it in the booking beforehand and they will get different times and stuff like that for their check-ins and things like that. And there will be staff at the port and you will be able to meet someone and do a face-to-face check-in. It's just the app is there to reduce the numbers significantly. Yeah.
Well, there's one particular client who is registered blind, and I know it would be quite difficult for them. But I mean, obviously, I'll help them.
Oh yeah. Well, then it just go through customer services, and they will have somebody. The procedure kind of be that somebody will come and meet them at a certain time at a certain place and take them through everything. So that's no problem at all.
Perfect.
I think there'd be many an Irish person, including my mother, that wouldn't be too tech savvy either with getting on board. But there is that's not it won't be an issue. It would just be, it won't be the norm, if you know what I mean.
I mean, personally, I would prefer it, but there are those that won't. The one thing I wanted to ask you about as well was the Cyprus sailing on the Jewel.
Mm-hmm.
I've been struggling to get flights.
So because we have a charter. So the charters are going from Manchester and from London. And so if you'd have to tie in with those charters. So that's what you need to do with those. Okay. I mean, you can fly there. You'll have to fly from Belfast or Dublin to tie in with those flights. Because what they're trying to do is reduce and keep it to an entire bubble kind of a cruise, if you know what I mean. So to make it easier, they have the charters. We have been looking at Irish ones as well, maybe from Belfast, maybe from Dublin, for later in the summer. At the moment, they're not there just purely because we're slightly behind what they are in England. It also might be a Scottish one, but they're kind of in the same boat as us. So it is something that we have put a pin in, that if things do speed up here and open up a bit more, it's an option for sure for later in the summer. But for now, you have the charter flights going out of London and Manchester. So you just need to tie up with those. So if you are pricing them up yourself on the system, just that's what we look for.
And then if anyone is planning on booking over the next week or so, what are we doing anything special?
Yeah, we can offer some onboard credit just to sweeten the deal for you guys there. If there's anything that you're particularly looking for on board and this will be put onto your account, you can use it on your pre-cruise planner. If you wanted to book in some nice drinks packages and specialty dining, you can keep it in the bag for the bag if you'd like as well. So anybody that does come and book, say over the rest of the week, you just fire me over any nice booking references that you have, Grace, and we'll make sure they're looked after.
And do we know what we're doing based on cabin types? Is it for in inside Ocean View and balcony, or will we not know that until the time?
Do you mean for onboard credit wise?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be starting from $50 and could go up to $150 depending on the category.
Okay. Perfect.
Can I ask, when do you anticipate the European sailing starting up again, you know, from the likes of Barcelona and Rome this year?
So at the moment, we are only cancelled up until the 30th of June. And we are expecting an update maybe next week. They're doing it on a month-by-month basis because they're still very hopeful that we will have activity. Again, it's down to our own travel restrictions and the likes of that then as well. But then having Limassol opened up, and obviously we've got Haifa in Israel now, and then Anthem, you know, we're seeing green shoots left, right, and centre. So we are very hopeful that we will see something. As I said, we're cancelled up to the end of June. Whether there'll be another cancellation put into July, and that might be the last one, I'm not 100% sure of yet. I'm hoping that it won't go that far, that we will see some ships coming in. There is a lot of crew vaccinations going on at the moment across the world, and crew getting geared up, because obviously that's the first thing that we have to make sure is done as well. There's crew getting vaccinated for ships that aren't due to or aren't part of the redeployment. So there's definitely little sneaky green lights coming up across the world at the moment. So we're definitely hoping, I mean, personally, I'm hoping to get on ships this summer as well. Although we're a bit behind on the old vaccinations, but as I said, hopefully we will be seeing stuff. Might be later in the summer, but hopefully there will still be some activity in there for sure.
Because we thought, I mean, as Grace was saying, we actually were supposed to be cruising this weekend. I'm so sad. But we thought we'll probably leave rebooking until it starts up again, you know, and you see how everything goes and how everything works. And I wanted to ask as well about if, say, I mean, we won't cruise now until next year probably. Will there have to be some sort of like a vaccination passport or some sort of proof, you know, because I'm assuming we'll all eventually have to get like booster shots or something at some stage.
I mean, that's also, I guess, a regional thing. So depending on whether Ireland and the UK actually bring out official vaccination passports, at the moment, you just need to be able to prove that you are double vaccinated. I can't speak too much for next year. Things have changed. I mean, things have changed so much in the last 2 months, never mind in the next year. At the moment, you just need to prove. I know there is huge talks in it about vaccination passports. I don't understand why there wouldn't be a vaccination passport. I have been vaccinated for God knows what with my travels over the years, and I have, you know, my little yellow book that has all my vaccinations in it. So, I mean, it's probably the easiest thing to do, or have it tied in with your actual passport as well. So at the moment, you just need to be able, if you're over the age of 18, you need to be able to prove that you are fully vaccinated, and all of the crew as well will be all vaccinated too.
Well, what I have actually suggested, Sinead, and is to a lot of my clients is, you know, once you get your second vaccine and you have your little card, laminate it. Honestly, because I think it's going to be a way to go to get into restaurants and different places anyway. So if you have your card and you've got your proof there, then
it's going to be like a gold card at this stage, like yeah.
Emma's already planning to get a lanyard and just go round places and just like flash her card at everyone.
There you go. That's
like the inside of your jacket, like, you know, good like line of duty style, you know.
I've got one.
Emma got one on which boat was it? I can't remember. But she just kept flashing it over. Where's my card? You know, but that was like her thing. But we were just slagging her then that that's what we're going to be doing with our vaccination cards from now on, with our Royal Caribbean lanyards.
I know. I think that's quite a good idea. There you go, Michelle. There's something you can take back.
Absolutely, yeah.
So other than that, guys, all I can do is say thank you for coming on and listening to all that Michelle had to tell us, and I do appreciate it. Thank you. And as it's my first one to have done, so we're gradually getting there. It's just very hard when you can't get out to meet people.
Yes.
Of course.
That's the most difficult thing. So hopefully the way forward is if we can run these every so often, and maybe get you guys sorted and get you booked for next year. The advantage you have, as Michelle said, you're getting the extra onboard credit from herself if you do.
And I would recommend, like, not waiting to book in, because I mean, with everything, there's going to be reduced capacity. Like there'll be reduced capacity, I'm sure, on flights as well and things like this, or even in hotels for your pre-stays, because social distancing is something that is going to be here for a while. The idea with the fully vaccinated cruises is that we'll still be able to have cruises the way we know and love them, you know, without too much huge changes to it on board. But hotels, flights, airports, you know, just to get
it's a protocol that you have to follow. And basically, I think the other thing I think will happen is when people get the green light, you know, from here.
Oh, there is going to be a rush. I am ready for it. I'm ready and waiting. I will be first in the queue.
And the prices will, I think, escalate. But that's only my view.
And you can also, if you have something booked for next year, there's nothing stopping you then maybe later in this year, if you get a good deal and doing a last minute one, if you get vaccinated and if stuff does come back out, there will be like shorter sailing options on there and stuff as well. And you can always hop on and get a great deal on there too.
Yeah. Exactly.
Or Barbados in December.
That one is amazing. Listen, guys, can I tell you, I've been to Barbados twice. Oh my God. Absolutely amazing. Really. And
it's the most popular one at the moment. Like, it is just flying off the shelves. People are buzzing because it's not waiting till the summer. You can use your future cruise cert on it as well. It's kind of like this time next year I could be there.
Yeah. I mean, yes, it is smaller than what you guys were used to, but well worth it, because obviously it's gone into the smaller ports as well.
Yeah, and you have a destination every day.
Yeah, and it's fantastic. Just the thought of it, even just being in Barbados this minute is enough.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yes.
So if there's anything else, just give us a quick. You guys can contact me anyway. You know that.
Yeah.
Michelle, thank you very, very much for
my pleasure.
The information, and really appreciate you doing this as well.
No problem at all.
We look forward to getting to see you very soon.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be up to see you guys now before long. Maybe we can meet in person.
Yeah. Well, let me know when you're coming this way.
Oh, absolutely. First stop, straight up.
Well, listen, thank you all.
Thanks so much.
You.
Thanks, Grace.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.